Are you a gig worker or self-employed? Womply has helped over 100,000 small businesses get a PPP stimulus loan and proudly serves more than 600,000 small businesses across America. Millions of self-employed workers may qualify for up to $41,000 in 100% forgivable loans. So apply today. The program ends soon and funds are limited. Apply now at womply.com/apply and see if you qualify for a PPP loan. Womply.com/apply. That's WOMPLY.com/apply.
Lowe's Spring Fest is here. We've got $10 off gallon cans or $40 off 5-gallon pails on select interior and exterior paints, stains, and coatings. And appliance special values plus free local delivery on appliances $396 or more in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Offers valid through 4/14. Actual paint sizes are 116 to 640 fluid ounces. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for rebate terms and conditions. For appliances, restrictions and additional fees may apply. See Lowe's.com or store for details. U.S. only.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. To those of you who participated last night in the live stream, thanks for coming by. It was a great time like usual, awesome engagement, a lot of good back and forth, and we once again had a very special visitor as Virginia popped in. So you never know who you're going to run into during the live stream. Every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I still do plan on doing one show a month a little earlier. So I'm thinking next weekend we might do the Sunday live stream a little earlier to try and give other folks a chance to participate in different time zones. So I'm thinking maybe Monday we'll shoot for like 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And perhaps that'll give some folks who aren't able to participate due to time constraints via the time difference, that maybe that'll give them a chance to jump on in and have a little bit of fun during the live stream. So again, everybody who joins in every Sunday, we have a good core group of people that are there pretty much every single Sunday. It's like Cheers at this point, right? Everybody knows your name. And then there's other people that start to come in each week. There's a couple of different people I see showing up and getting involved. So if you're looking for some good quality conversation that has to do with this case, and you want to avoid the BS that you see on like Twitter and stuff, that live stream on Sundays is the perfect forum for you to get together with other like-minded individuals and, discuss this case and get to know each other. Because I think that it's important that everybody who, who's involved in following this case and hoping that justice prevails, I think it's important that there's a forum for people to discuss things, right? And trade ideas, trade articles, and stuff like that. And I'm happy that that live stream, the Sunday live stream, has acted in that capacity thus far. So, again, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you pop in this Sunday. Come in for a little while, poke around, see what's up. Now, if you missed it, no worries. You can check out the live stream right here on Spreaker. Or if you want to check out the video, you can go over to the Facebook page and you can see all of the live streaming videos are archived there, and you can go back and watch all of them and catch up on the live streams as well if you wish. But as for today, well, we're going to jump right back into the financials with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we've talked a lot about that here on the podcast, right? It's one of our ongoing themes, one of our ongoing conversations, and it's a very big part of who Jeffrey Epstein was and how he was able to conduct this business. Today we have an article from Counterpunch, and it's going to go into a little bit more detail on how Jeffrey Epstein was able to avoid taxes, how Jeffrey Epstein was able to avoid paying what he should have been paying. And I know we all want to blame him and the scumbags in the financial sector, and believe me, they shoulder their share of the blame. But there's a lot of the blame to go towards the lawmakers who created these laws. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get into the article. And you're going to just roll your eyes and be angry right? When we talk about some of the things that we know are apparent. So this article is from Counterpunch. The authors are Daniel Hemmel and Bob Lord. Headline: Jeffrey Epstein's billionaire tax avoidance assistance business. The sex trafficking scandal surrounding the late Jeffrey Epstein already has tarnished the reputations of prominent politicians, businessmen, and the British royal family. Now it's casting dark shadows on an estate tax avoidance strategy popular among Wall Street CEOs and tech entrepreneurs. For those of you who don't understand what that means not you. All right? Not me, not you, not your friend John, not your Aunt Joan. This is only for the people that pay to play. This is only for our betters, the masters of the universe. The scuzzbags who inhabit Silicon Valley. You and I aren't getting hooked up on no tax breaks, no homie hookups. And then if a tax break is announced for poor people, forget it. You have a bunch of people freaking out about it, calling it a handout, and then gaslighting a portion of the population to do the same. It's an absolute disgusting scenario that we see on Wall Street over and over and over again. When is enough enough, right? I don't begrudge anyone their wealth. In fact, I think that we should all, hope that we're successful enough in whatever field that we choose that we don't have any money problems, right? I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, eat the rich. Definitely not. My problem is with the top 1% of the 1%, right? These are the real people with the problems. These are the people that are really causing us all sorts of grief. These are the people that can really lean on these politicians and get them to write laws that benefit them while shitting upon us. The strategy exploits a loophole. Here you go. You guys remember when I talk about loopholes? This is what I'm talking about. This will put one of the loopholes on blast a little bit about what we talk, the stuff we talk about here all the time. That strategy exploits a loophole that Congress unintentionally, huh? Sorry, I don't believe that. I don't believe anything Congress does is unintentional. They didn't do this unintentionally. All right. They did this so that their friends in the financial sector would still have a way to increase their wealth while, using these loopholes and seemingly acting like they're in compliance. The strategy exploits a loophole that Congress unintentionally left open when it passed provisions related to grantor retained annuity trusts, or GRATS, in 1990. Yeah, I'm sure that they had no idea, Congress in 1990, they had no clue that it would be exploited and loopholes would be used. I'm sure that they weren't lobbied to write the law the exact way that it was put on the books so that these loopholes could be exploited. Give me a break. They think you're stupid. Honestly, that's what they think. But guess what? I know better, and you certainly know better. Use of these trusts already has cost the IRS, by one estimate, well over $100 billion in just the last 2 decades. A recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission by the private equity firm Apollo Global Management reveals that the firm's longtime CEO Leon Black relied on Epstein's assistance to extract more than $500 million of tax savings from GRATS. See? And now think about what we talked about previously, how Epstein was given the ability to get those IPOs before anyone else. They were underwritten and guaranteed basically by the bank, and Epstein was able to dive in and score on those and make a fortune. He's also able to manipulate the system by using these GRATS and finding ways for people like scumbag-ass Leon Black not to pay their fair share. Meanwhile, April 15th is quickly approaching, boys, girls, and everybody else. I hope that you have your taxes ready, because if not, you better believe the IRS is showing up at your house. GRATS, which combine a trust and an annuity to generate supercharged tax benefits, are entirely legal, And this is the rub, right? This is where we got to say to ourselves, well, what is our part in this as voters? Who have we sent to Washington, D.C. over and over again, and what has been the result? So we have to take a little of that responsibility, right? When we're talking about the people we're sending to D.C. and the scumbag class that we've been sending there for years and years and years and years. Because of them, this is legal. Because of them, this loophole exists. So of course scumbags like Jeffrey Epstein and Leon Black are going to exploit that loophole if it exists. These people are greedy. They're not going to leave one single cent on the table. So while I want to be pissed off at them, and believe me, I am, a lot of our rancor and our rage should be focused at these politicians who put these laws on the books and then try and act like we're doing a great thing with these laws. Meanwhile, there's more back doors left in them than, if you're a computer programmer, a hacker who's writing a program for a government. But they make no sense from a policy perspective, and they only work because Congress in 1990 enacted a valuation formula that defies economic reality. It's because it wasn't a mistake, okay? They enacted the valuation formula because they knew it would benefit their buddies, their bagmen, the dudes that make sure the money keeps flowing. The manna of politics, right? Dark money, good money, bad money, they don't care. They're not asking where it came from. Remember, Chuck Schumer, $22,000 from Jeffrey Epstein. Let's not forget, these people don't care. They will take the money anywhere it comes from. And if Congress can put together a formula that gives them cover to do so by, it's a loophole in the law, and then the same people who put the loophole in the law will get up there and act like they have no power to fix it. It's such a scam, and I'm so sick of seeing it on a regular basis. While GRATS aren't responsible for Epstein's predation, the appearance of GRATS in the most recent Epstein revelations is one more reminder that Congress and the Biden administration should scrap this tax shelter. Oh, they should, but will they? I doubt it. Just take a look at 46's cabinet. Take a look at those who are advising him financially. Take a look at those who are part of his inner circle. How many of them are from the financial sector? How many of them have a lot to lose if this stuff happens, right? If there is a scrappage of the tax shelter, how many of them stand to lose? Oh, all of us gain, right? We're not going to lose out on it. I don't know about you, but I don't have my money parked in some LLC anywhere. I'm not moving my money through some shell company anywhere. So really, the only people that would lose in a situation like this are the so-called elite and their minions. And unfortunately, for those who aren't paying attention, and for those who still cheer on these politicians like they're some sort of figure to look up to, well, none of them are going to change it, okay? Because they're all benefiting from it. According to the report of an outside law firm hired by Apollo, Epstein advised Black on a range of matters between 2012 and 2017, generating $158 million in fees. The most valuable piece of work Epstein provided Black, according to the report, concerned a GRAT that Black had set up years earlier. So again, you see it, right? Rearing its ugly head. The malfeasance within the financial sector. It's promoted by the lawmakers. What, you think they can't close these loopholes? They're the ones who put the loopholes in these laws in the first place. They're the ones who are making these laws. They're called lawmakers. Here's an idea. Make a few laws that benefit the common person. Epstein wasn't the only financial advisor helping high net worth individuals set up GRATS, and Black isn't the only one to take advantage. The strategy surged in popularity after a 2007 decision by the U.S. tax court rejected an IRS challenge to the Walton family's aggressive use of GRATS, another group of scoundrels, the Walton family. Talk about destroying mom and pop shops. Talk about chasing mom and pop shops out of business. You have the Walton family to thank for that. And it's not like you're getting quality stuff from Walmart, right? It's a bunch of garbage. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a place for it. That's how business works, right? Some big box stores, perfect. But they should be paying their fair share. What, the mom and pop shop isn't paying all of their taxes? They're not using GRATS. Why should the Walton family be able to use the GRATS? Not only do they have an advantage because they're buying in such mass quantity, but now they have another financial advantage given to them by the government because they can use these GRATS to avoid paying taxes? Yeah, it's not a two-tiered system. Nah, it's not set up against us. Following the Waltons' lead, thousands of others, including Facebook founder Mark Dickface Zuckerberg and JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Scuzzbag Dimon, have used GRATS to cut their gift tax and eventual estate tax liabilities. Isn't that nice? Isn't Zuckerberg, Mr. Dickface himself, up there on a regular basis acting like he's some kind of, great person and somebody that society should be cherishing? Newsflash, Zuckerberg, Dickface, you're an absolute moron, you're a clown, and you and the rest of the so-called masters of the universe, well, enjoy your time now, because eventually people are going to be sick of it, and I have a funny feeling that all of you corptocrats are in for a very rough go of it. Two of the most masterful users of GRATS are Zoom founder Eric Yuan and the late casino magnate Sheldon Adelson. Good old Sheldon Adelson. SEC filings indicate that Yuan saved more than $2 billion with well-timed transfers to two GRATS around the video conferencing company's April 2019 IPO. So remember that when you're using Zoom. And remember that every time you log into Zoom. Eric Yuan, $2 billion with well-timed transfers to two GRATS so that they wouldn't have to pay the taxes on it. So that they didn't have to pay the extra couple of bucks. So that they could pay out a couple more balloon payments to their CEOs. I wonder how much the frontline employees are making over there. Not very much, I'd gather. Adelson, a major Trump donor who died last month, reportedly reduced his family's tax liability by about $2.8 billion through GRATS. Now, Sheldon Adelson was a huge figure in Las Vegas, and like most people, he was a great character. As far as what he did for the economy in Las Vegas, you got to give him a tilt of the cap, right? He kept people working through this pandemic. He kept his people paid. And one thing about Sheldon Adelson's properties in Las Vegas, as far as employees, all of his frontline employees were making $1 more than everybody else on the strip. So in that regard, kudos to him, right? Great. But that doesn't make up for and make me disregard all of the other scumbaggery, right? All of the political manipulations, buying the Review Journal, pretty much having a stranglehold on Las Vegas forever. And these GRATS and the tax liabilities and all of that, it really does not sit well with me. So Sheldon Adelson, just like the rest of them, just another one of these billionaires that was so greedy and so corrupt that they couldn't let one little loophole pass them by. Here's how it works. To set up a GRAT, an individual, called a grantor, and almost always a multimillionaire or billionaire, makes a gift to a trust with a string attached. Oh, there's always a string attached when we're dealing with these people, isn't there? The string is that the trust must make a series of payments, a retained annuity, back to the grantor for several years. After the several-year period is over, the trust's assets go to its beneficiary, which is usually another family trust set up for the grantor's children or grandchildren. Boy, isn't that nice. So basically what they're doing is just ducking, and dodging, and avoiding all sorts of tax liability. While we're paying for our money on both ends, and upside down half the time, these people, nah, we're not going to do that. Not only are we going to victimize the most vulnerable amongst us, we're also going to make sure that we're counting every single penny like Scrooge McDuck. A 1990 law allows the grantor to calculate her net transfer for estate and gift tax purposes by subtracting the value of the retained annuity from the amount that goes into the trust. Since these annuity payments happen in the future, Congress needed to set an interest rate that would be used to calculate the annuity's present value. Congress's error was to tie the rate to the interest rate on U.S. Treasury bonds. For February 21st, the interest rate on GRATS is just 0.6%. Now think about that. What's your interest rate? What's your interest rate on your car? What's your interest rate on your mortgage? What's your interest rate on your credit cards? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say most of you aren't working on 0.6% on all of it. Now, I'm sure some of you have really great credit and, you're getting hooked up with good rates. But for the most part, Americans and citizens worldwide experience predatory lending on a regular basis. People talk about forgiving student debt. And you know what? I'm all for it, right? At this point, go for it. Let's forgive it all. But what I also think should happen is, if we're going to go down that route, then the government should also forgive everybody's car loan. Why not, right? If that's the route we're going. Talk about buying power. How many people have a car loan that's dragging them down? How many people can hardly afford their car payments? So if we're going down the route of forgiving loans and we're talking about things that are dragging down the economy, the student debt market and the car loan market are very comparable when you're looking at the numbers. So if there's a lot of people that aren't cool with student loans being forgiven, and I get it, a lot of people paid for it, right? Okay, so let's alleviate that and let's do the car payment thing as well. Basically a reset of both of those bills. And then how many people would be able to pay their rent? How many people would be able to keep it moving? Pretty sure that we bailed out all of these car companies anyway, right? So why is it that they're still acting like predators on the American people? The low interest rate assumption gave rise to an easy planning opportunity. Wealthy individuals can stuff their GRATS with high-risk, high-growth assets that are likely to generate returns well above the Treasury rate. On top of that, they can structure their GRATS such that the present value of the annuity exactly equals or zeroes out the value of the transferred assets, resulting in a net gift of zero. Isn't that nice? So basically, by playing the numbers game and, having a Jeffrey Epstein come in and take a look at things, they finagle it and make it look like, since you've given the transferred assets already, it zeroes everything out, and then it results in a net gift of zero. So it looks like you've transferred nothing, and that means you're on the hook for zero tax dollars. The upshot is that if assets in the zeroed-out GRAT grow faster than the Treasury-based rate, the GRAT will have more money left over after it's done paying out the annuity, and that money will go to the GRAT's beneficiary free of any gift tax. Imagine that. They sure like to do that free stuff for them and their friends, right? Not for us. Take your $600 and like it. I don't know about you, but I haven't gotten that other stimulus check yet. Have you? While they've been playing touch ass in the park for the last month and a half, people are starving to death. You got a cold snap blasting through Texas that absolutely froze them solid. Still ain't seen my $2,000 stimmy, but I guarantee you that these people are still seeing their tax breaks. If GRAT assets grow slower than the Treasury rate or dip in value, the trust will run out of money before it makes all of its annuity payments. The trust will cease to exist, and no one will owe any tax. Nah, not a loophole. This isn't a scam or anything. This isn't more extras for their friends, right? Their bagmen, politicians' bagmen. It's a joke. I hope you folks see why it enrages me so much and why we talk about it so often here on the podcast. I know that it's not completely Epstein related, but it is, right? If we're talking about going deeper and we want a deeper look at this and we want to explore every avenue, then the financial aspect of this is super important. And remember, they got Al Capone on IRS issues. So at the end of the day, of course, I want all of these people to be caught up for human trafficking and all of these other crimes. But if we can only get financial convictions, at the very least, these people have to go to jail for that. From the grantor's perspective, this is a heads I win, tails we tie bet with the IRS. Imagine that, being able to dictate the terms of an agreement, basically, to the IRS. That's power, folks. That is real power. When you're sitting in your office and you have schemes, plots, and plans, and you're basically telling the IRS to get stuffed, that is power. Recognizing what a problem GRATS had become, President Obama repeatedly asked Congress to clamp down on these tax avoidance trusts. After President Obama left office, Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Jimmy Gomez picked up the mantle of GRAT reform and introduced legislation that would shut down the strategy that the Waltons pioneered. But President Trump, who owes much of his fortune to transfers that his father made to him using GRATS, shocking, isn't it? You see, this has always been the route that everybody should have went after Trump. All the other stuff, I mean, it's nice window dressing, right? The salaciousness of it's great, but you can't prove any of it. It's all hearsay. Just because some journalist says it's so doesn't mean it's a fact, right? It's not what we know, it's what we can prove. And we could have always proven that Trump had terrible financial history. He had connections to the mafia, for God's sakes. Anybody who was doing construction in New York during those years had connections to the mafia. You didn't get one piece of concrete unless you went through the mafia. So all of the other BS that they were doing and all of the other nonsense, the political theater and the red meat they were throwing to their base was garbage. This is what should have been focused on, folks, all right? Right here. Showed no interest in fixing the problem, and the Sanders-Gomez bill stalled under divided government. Well, guess what? They don't have a divided government anymore. The Democrats have all three branches. Now, let's see what you're about. Are you just going to are you just going to talk about it, or are you going to be about it? My gut says, like usual, they're just going to talk about it. Because remember, the neoliberals and the neocons are the same people in different suits. Hopefully, the latest Epstein revelations will put GRATS back on the tax reform agenda. The easiest fix would simply be to repeal the 1990 law that allows GRATS to exist. Taxpayers who desire the steady stream of income that comes from an annuity can continue to buy those products from insurance companies. It's only ultra-rich taxpayers who are using annuities as an estate tax avoidance strategy who would be affected. And guess what? If anyone deserves to be affected, it's them. I have no remorse for them anymore. They've been victimizing us for how long? I mean, society in general, for how long? Stealing from us, grifting, being involved in all sorts of duplicitous deals. Screw them. GRATS are not the most infuriating aspect of the Epstein saga, in which dozens of prominent individuals and institutions actively abetted or turned a blind eye toward Epstein's deeds. But by shining another spotlight on GRATS, the Epstein revelations remind us of the continuing damage from a tax shelter that never should have been allowed in the first place. It is long beyond time, folks, that an end to this comes. No more tax shelters, no more bullshit laws put on the books by Congress to help their buddies, and it's time for all of these disgusting ass bastards who helped Jeffrey Epstein, as the article states here, institutionally and otherwise, and aided and abetted his crimes, to pay the price. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, I'll be back later on with the Daily Drop, so I will catch you folks then.
Lowe's Spring Fest is here. We've got $10 off gallon cans or $40 off 5-gallon pails on select interior and exterior paints, stains, and coatings. And appliance special values plus free local delivery on appliances $396 or more in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Offers valid through 4/14. Actual paint sizes are 116 to 640 fluid ounces. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for rebate terms and conditions. For appliances, restrictions and additional fees may apply. See Lowe's.com or store for details. U.S. only.